Hi, I'm Laura Blau, Senior Wildfire Fellow with IBHS.
And I'm Steve Hawks, Senior Director for Wildfire at IBHS.
And we're going to talk a little bit about another common question that we get regarding retrofitting homes that may not have been lost during the fire or only partially damaged. So Steve, where should I start if I'm going to retrofit my home and I can't afford to do everything at once? What are some of the top features that I should concentrate on?
Yeah, that's a great question and a common one that we receive. And so we really want to direct you to our Wildfire Prepared Home website and ask that you download the how-to checklist and print that off. And then look at the standard for the Wildfire Prepared Home base level designation and compare that to your home. So print it off, go outside, walk around your home, and make a checklist of all the areas where your home doesn't line up with the requirements of the Wildfire Prepared Home base level designation. And then once you have that checklist, you can develop a plan of how to go about checking each one of those items off the list. Some of them can be easier to do and are DIY type project, and start with those. Start working on those and get them checked off the list really quickly. Others may be a little more involved and require you to hire like a contractor and expend some financial resources. So develop a plan of attack for them. But the three most important ones are the roof, having a Class A fire rated roof. It is a large surface area that sits high off the ground and is very vulnerable to the embers that are produced during these high intensity wildfires. So having an older non-Class A fire rated roof is a significant vulnerability. Then next would be that non-combustible zone 0, that first 5 feet out from the home and other attachments, removing combustible objects from there. And that's that linchpin that holds this entire system together. And then the next item would be vents, ensuring that your vents have the right size mesh of 1/8 inch gap between the mesh that will not allow embers to pass through with enough energy to ignite a fire on the inside of the house. And so those are the three top items, but I can't stress enough that under these extreme wildfire conditions that we've seen the most structure loss, that is a systems-based approach. And if you leave one vulnerability, the fire of this intensity can easily exploit that vulnerable, leading to the loss. So again, create your checklist and then go the full distance, checking each item off the list.
And it's okay to do it over time.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Do it over time, but get started. Don't delay. You can't delay. The wildfires won't wait for you to do wildfire mitigation at your property. Get started.
I have a really old wood-sided home. Is it possible to get a wildfire prepared designation with that home?
Absolutely. So the Wildfire Prepared Home base level designation is focused on reducing the exposure to the home from embers that are produced during the wildfire. And so it focuses on the components of the home that are most vulnerable to that ember exposure. So having a Class A fire rated roof, having metal gutters and downspouts, having the right mesh size, that 1/8 inch mesh for vent screens. And then in looking at the wall or any vertical surface where it comes together with a horizontal surface, that's 6 inches up on that wall of having a non-combustible material. And so for the wood-sided house, it's that bottom 6 inches, ensuring that there's a combination of non-combustible materials, whether that's the foundation of the house, and then maybe adding some non-combustible material on the outside of your wood wall will provide that 6 inches and the mitigation that we need for that exposure to embers.
Great. Do I need to replace all of my windows and get a new roof to qualify?
No. Again, the Wildfire Prepared Home program has a base level designation that is based on exposure to embers and those components that are most vulnerable. So it's the roof, vents, gutters, the bottom 6 inches of the base of a vertical surface like a wall in the ground or a wall in the deck, and then defensible space, really focusing on that first 5 feet of being non-combustible, and then a few additional requirements further out in the next 5 to 30 foot range. But there is no requirements for windows or for the base level designation.
Great. Thanks, Steve, for sharing how to retrofit a home to make it more survivable and insurable.